Okay, we're going to discuss the concept of incubators today. We are talking about entrepreneurial financing. This is a large diagram of the various types of financing that entrepreneurs might take, starting with the least onerous and complex, your own money, savings, and credit cards, moving all the way down to angel investors and VC investors, which tend to be fairly complex and somewhat onerous places to go take financing. So right now we're talking about the ecosystem section of the financing world, which is kind of in the middle from business plan competitions and incubators and tech transfer offices. So incubators in particular, is what we're going to discuss right now. What are they and what do they do? Incubators are really named after the little things you used to see when you were a kid that had duck eggs or what have you, and you'd sit them in a warm area, and after a while the ducks would hatch. That's the idea of an incubator. So you take a small business that's relatively immature, you put it in an area where it's sort of tended to and taught, and it'll eventually blossom into a bigger company. So incubators have been around for quite a while in various forms. They really vary largely in terms of what they're trying to accomplish and what they're asking from the company in return for their services. Really the typical three are either university, not-for-profit, or for-profit. So university might be specifically run and managed by people associated with the university, finance professors, teachers, management professors that help people go through the early stages of starting a company. Not-for-profit is just what it sounds like. It's usually they have some sort of community mandate. Remember, this group of people is driven by things other than money. So they'll either have a community mandate or a job growth mandate. Or there are lots of for-profit incubators, which are generally the most common. And that's folks that are trying to make money by taking an equity position in your company in exchange for their services. So what do they do, and why are people interested in working with them and using them? Really what they're trying to do is help you grow your company. And that involves the day-to-day sort of bricks and mortar process of building a company. So they concentrate on management with a build focus, meaning they're always trying to grow and expand the organization. And unlike a tech transfer office, which may not do much of the sort of management and business creation, they may do more licensing and commercial stuff. An incubator is going to help you with things like strategy. So they may sit on your board of directors, they'll sit around and talk about what to do with the company under what circumstances, what customers you should be selling, what your business model should look like, what your revenue model might look like. They really become sort of a very much a business resource. And then also they will give you physical resources. So they might give you an office, they'll give you a cube, computers, internet connectivity, telephones, all kinds of various physical resources that they might offer. And then importantly, they'll offer services, things like legal services, accounting services, trademarking, IP protection. They'll generally get really good rates from service providers because they'll have a bunch of companies. I'm sorry, that's one thing I should have mentioned is incubators typically will have a portfolio or a group of companies that they'll work with. They don't just work with one. So they may have 8 or 10. And they'll use these same systems across all of the companies that they manage. So they'll have a kind of a set series of ways of doing things that they'll try and teach the companies. Really the important thing to understand here is, in terms of being an entrepreneur, is that they take equity and they expect growth. Almost always these guys will take equity. Sometimes not in a not-for-profit, but that's pretty rare. Almost always they'll say, in exchange for 10% of your company, I will give you XYZ, an office space and phones and legal help and trademarking help, and I'll help you figure out how to get into your new markets and launch your product and build it and source it. So that stuff doesn't really come for free. The model is that the incubator is going to try and make some money, and the way they do that is by taking equity in your company. So again, important to understand we're kind of in the middle of the complexity ladder, moving toward VC and away from your mom and raising credit card dollars. But an incubator is a very good option for small companies if you can live with this sort of exchange of equity for services and physical resources.